Twilight of the Cockroaches is an anime/live-action war drama. The film follows a community of cockroaches that live in a flat belonging to a lazy man called Sato. These insects live at peace with their human host until the man ends up getting a girlfriend, who encourages Sato to clean the place up and exterminate the cockroaches. What follows is a grand battle between the cockroaches and humans, while the older cockroaches teach the youths about how to survive with unfriendly humans. Visually and technically, I found this to be a very engaging film, but Twilight of the Cockroaches doesn't embrace its concept as much as it could have done. Let me first explain the things that I did enjoy about the film. To begin with, the movie managed to convince me that the cockroach society was a genuine world, and I often forgot that in reality, these cockroaches lived in a messy apartment. This is thanks to the inventive ways that the bugs use the left-about items they find in Sato's home. Then there's the use of humor in the film. While it isn't frequent, it is used effectively at times without killing the dramatic tone. The comedic highlight being a talking piece of turd that one character comes in contact with. Call me immature if you will, but I found this strangely hilarious. The third thing about the film that I have to say is good is its strongest element: the war scenes. These action set pieces are gripping, thrilling, and fun. It's like watching a disaster film at a smaller scale. Now, why don't I believe that this film is as good as it could have been? Well, I had one major problem with it: its characters. I just didn't care about any of them, and this took away my sympathy for the war's victims, as harsh as that sounds. The issue is that these characters do not have any defining personalities. Worst of all, the character that I couldn't tolerate out of all of them was its lead, Naomi. She's not only boring, but I also found it impossible to like her. You see, Naomi is about to get married to a successful and nice guy called Ichiro, who Naomi seems to get along with fine. Then, when she develops a childish crush on a cockroach soldier called Hans, she runs away to a dangerous war zone to see Hans. How am I supposed to relate to a lead character that's as selfish and stupid as this? She throws away her engagement and life to recklessly travel to a hazardous war zone to elope with a soldier who happens to have the personality of dry paint. Hans and Naomi don't even have an interesting affair. It's dull, brief, lacks chemistry, and leaves behind a bitter feeling because all I could think about was, poor Ichiro, he doesn't deserve this kind of treatment. Sure, she returns to the arms of Ichiro later in the film, but she never suffers from any guilt for her infidelity. What a foul character. And she's supposed to be our lead, the one that the movie wants us to root for. Naomi doesn't even have an important part in the major plot until the last minute, when her grandma's ghost randomly announces to her that it has been prophesied that she is to save her fellow insects from the humans. Yet this isn't true because she fails her destiny after half a minute of trying. Naomi's involvement with the film seems pointless to me. Her scenes take up space where the story could have focused on more valuable or interesting subplots. I mean, I really liked the survival side of the story, where Ichiro begins to benefit from the elders' lessons. There could have been far more scenes involving Ichiro's relationship with these wise old cockroaches. Now, the animation of Twilight of the Cockroaches is meshed with live action and still photographic scenery. Not only is it easy to be convinced that these animated characters are living in this photographic setting, but the world is also well shot to film. There's some subtle beauty in the way that the real imagery is filmed or photographed. My favourite example of this is the use of animated shadows against a sunset-lit field in a scene. The animation itself is reasonably okay. It's only at its best in the awesome battle sequences, but the rest of the time it looks nothing more than acceptable. It's fluent enough, I guess, but it could have been a bit better. The lighting also takes a stylistic turn at times in the night scenes, as the cinematography relies on a blue tint to create this gorgeous moonlight effect on the apartment. The designs for the cockroaches are kind of cute. They look like little humans cosplaying as insects. I can imagine that this kind of character design would creep some people out or irritate them, but personally, I found them to be adorable as a creative choice. I watched this film in its American dub format, and the US voice acting is satisfactory. It's clear and emotive, but each voice fits its character. There's nothing that great about the performances, but there's also nothing that bad about them either.
The live-action actors Kaoru Kobayashi and Setsuko Karasuma are limited to miming but do a good job in their parts. I'd have to say that Setsuko does a far better job, but that's because she has more to work with.
The music score is a mix of delicate violin bowing and soft piano pieces. It's gorgeous, and fits nicely with what's displayed on screen. I also have to give a round of applause to the sound department of this film. The Foley art is staggeringly impressive. I mean, not only do we hear the crisp shuffles of little roaches, but we also hear the humans' movement at an increased volume to set a sense of scale. This effect alienates the humans and makes them come across as kind of scary. To conclude, Twilight of the Cockroaches is full of engaging battle sequences, has a fantastic soundtrack, and wonderful cinematography. However, it falls flat severely by having a boring lead character that I despised and a community of supporting insects that I couldn't connect to. It's a film worth seeing for its visuals and sound, but it lacks characters needed to become emotionally attached to. I give it 3 filthy stars out of 5.